Up, down, up, down.
What ho, inhabitants of YouTube! It is time for the movie couple's review of Thor Ragnarok.
Oh
it is time
God.
for us to bring forth the hammer of Thor and tell us our thoughts upon this movie. Do you have any thoughts?
Not after that. I'm not sure I can follow that. Hey guys, I'm Wendy.
And I'm Dustin.
AKA Thor for the day. And we're the movie couple. We're about to give you our review for Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is directed by Taika Waititi, and it stars Chris Hemsworth, Cate Blanchett, Tom Hiddleston, Tessa Thompson, and Mark Ruffalo. When Thor finds himself locked in a deadly gladiatorial arena on an alien planet against the Hulk, he must figure out how to survive to get back to Asgard to prevent the all-powerful Hela from destroying his home.
This movie is an action-packed thrill ride. It really has just a lot of fun, a lot of action, and a lot of bright colors.
Yes, and we all saw that from the trailer, and honestly, I was a little bit worried when I first saw the trailer. Like, I liked all of it. You saw our reaction to it. If not, you can check it out right now. I put it somewhere up here in the cards, so make sure you click on that. But I thought, it's a little colorful. It's a little Guardians of the Galaxy-like, and I wonder how that's gonna tie in. And honestly, it worked for what it was.
Yeah, it was very, very different than the last two Thors.
Yeah.
You know, the last two Thors were a lot darker, were a lot more
serious. A little bit more serious.
A little bit more serious.
Yeah.
This one was very bright. It was very much a spectacle. And it was something that it was a little jarring at first to have this huge shift.
Well, that's true.
Of what the last two Thor movies kind of were.
Yeah.
And now it's not bad. It's not a bad shift. But it's just completely different. It's just a lot brighter, a lot more colorful.
As in, this could have been a standalone Thor movie, and it wouldn't be a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
In fact, well, I'll leave that for later. But I wanted to touch on, since you were talking about humor, the tone of the movie. It has a lot of energy from beginning to end. Your energy level is at like 80% the whole time. And it reminded me a lot of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, of how I felt when I watched it, because it was just so much fun. The energy was really high. The music for this movie is fantastic. And there's a specific song that they used a couple of times in the movie. I won't say it because I consider that a little bit of a spoiler. But man, did that song come in at the right time.
And you know what? That was also something, when they used this song, I think those are some of the best scenes in the movie. That was something that just really stood out, were some of these amazing fight scenes. I mean, we already know that there's a fight scene between the Hulk and Thor.
Yes.
That is an amazing scene.
Yes.
But there's also many other fight scenes where you're just sitting there going, yeah, you want to kind of, it kind of really does give you that gladiatorial feel.
Yeah.
You want to stand up on your feet, you kind of want to cheer, get your hands up in the air, and that's something that you kind of get throughout the entirety of this movie, is that kind of like you have a ringmaster there, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet! And you kind of get that. Are you talking about
the Grandmaster?
The Grandmaster, but also when he's not even there, it's that kind of a vibe throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love this so much, and I had my concerns, but I can happily say, like, about 5 minutes into this movie, I was actually, right before the first title card went up, I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'm good for this movie. I wanted to also add that they did not overuse cameos in this movie, and I was afraid that because it is an MCU movie, it is an Avenger, you know, Thor being one of the Avengers, they were going to try to throw like as many Avengers as we can, just to be like, remember guys, we're the same universe, it's all shared. And they didn't do that because they didn't feel the need to do that. And they did have a little bit of cameo. We won't tell you who, because spoiler.
Yeah.
But it was how they used it was the right way to use it.
One of the characters that I really liked, though, was Hela.
Yeah? I
thought she was completely badass and really fun as a villain.
I mean, how can you not like her? It's Cate Blanchett. She is... There's very few female villains in the MCU. Is she the first one? Comment below if you know. I can't think at the moment because it's kind of late and I'm a little tired. I feel like she is. Yeah. If she's not the first one, she's one of few, very few. And she is, like, in the trailer, she was so intimidating. And she is just as intimidating, I would say, and very, very, like, she has a huge presence. So every time she's on the screen, it's not like the stars were battling it out. She basically just took the scene. Any scene she was in, I would say she took it.
And I always thought it was really cool anytime she, like, you know, you saw it in the trailer where she kind of puts her hands through her hair and then her headpiece comes on.
Yeah, the transition was very smooth. It seemed very natural. It wasn't like, oh, here we go with the CGI. Like, it really... Actually, I wanted it more because, like, can you imagine if you had that, like, power? You just kind of, like, hair up, hair down, hair up, hair down, up, down. Anyways, it was great to see her on screen.
Yeah. This movie isn't without its flaws. It was fun. It was exciting. However, I really feel like they took the idea of using humor in this movie and pushed it a little too far. There were a lot of lines that, true, were funny, but were very off character. Were very kind of out of place, and it's actually kind of one of the problems that I had with Guardians.
The first one or the second one?
The first one.
Oh.
Where they kind of pushed that humor a little too much, but this one, it stands out a little bit more in this one, where every couple of lines, and maybe even a couple times in each scene, there's always a couple of jokes.
I think it seems out of place because in the two Thor movies that we had previously didn't have humor like this. They had a little bit of humor, but this was definitely humor heavy. It definitely leans. I'm not saying the movie leans on the humor, but it is tip the scale as far as, like, it's almost like if the first two movies were at 20% humor, this one I would say it's at like 70% humor.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it. So it does seem out of place. I didn't quite mind it, but I can see how people could be a little put off by it. For me, my dislike was not the humor. It was one very specific scene with Hela, and it was an action scene. I won't tell you when it comes in because she's got a few. She's got quite a few.
Yeah.
She's very violent. And to me, it read like a mega CGI fest, and it didn't look good. It was really, really apparent on the big screen, and I didn't like it. It just, my eyes, it just didn't register well with me at all. I was like, am I watching like a video game? It seemed like it was like unfinished footage, which you know it's not. So that had me worried a little bit. But then a scene that came, not almost immediately, but that came afterwards, made me feel better about everything.
Yeah, and there were a couple other shots where you're sitting there going, ooh, that's green screen.
I wonder if it's because, like, think about Thor's action scenes and how many he has in the past, from the past movies, and this was her first time being in an MCU movie, in a Marvel movie, and the first time she had to ever take on a role like this.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is something new for her, and that's why maybe it became CGI heavy.
Maybe, yeah, instead of trying to rely on her being able to do the stunts, but then they could always use a stunt double.
This is true.
And something like that. One other thing is that I thought that Karl Urban's character, the Executioner, was a little underutilized. I think he was kind of just a henchman, not quite as bad as what they did to Bane in Batman and Robin. Bad as underutilized, but still, I feel like they really could have used him a little bit more, given him a little bit more of a story arc, instead of just, he seemed a little bit misplaced at the very beginning, and it takes a little bit for him to kind of warm up to him.
Yeah, I would say he was definitely wasted. You have someone who's talented like Karl Urban who really could have handled some of that humor, because we see what he can do in, for example, Star Trek. He has a lot of comedic lines in Star Trek, and the delivery and the timing is perfect. They could have let him utilize that a little bit, and they really didn't, and I don't know why, and I ended up not liking his character as much as I thought I was going to.
After everything is said and done, I still had a lot of fun in this movie. And that's what you really go into these Marvel movies to have, is fun, excitement, to be almost wanting to get on your feet and cheer and laugh. Especially with the way that they promoted this movie. They really promoted it as a just big, fun, action-packed, exciting kind of a movie.
Yeah.
So I think my review, unless you have any closing arguments or closing discussions to say.
I wouldn't say closing arguments. I I had a lot of fun watching this. It's a very high energy movie. The pacing is really, really good. I don't really feel like there was any moments that was like dead, and there wasn't any moments that was like, it's too much for my eyes. The movie needs to slow down a little bit. I think it breathed where it needed to breathe, and I think it ramped up wherever it needed to ramp up. I also wanted to mention Tessa Thompson. She is fantastic in this movie. It's just she belongs in an MCU movie.
So overall,
wait, Loki.
Oh, Loki.
Oh my God! Hello, I'm wearing like a Loki shirt, and I forget to mention him. I mean, he is. If you want to talk about one Marvel villain, MCU villain that everyone seems to love, it is Loki, and he does it again in this movie. There's like nothing bad I can say about his character.
It's just the amazingness of Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, so put him in everything. I don't care if he does a good act. Put Loki
Have him
in
be
everything.
the next 007. Possible, maybe. I don't know. Different movie,
I would watch
different
it.
Discussion.
All right, go ahead and give your rating.
I think I'm going to give this movie a check it out. Because I think there are a few flaws to make me not want to be like, opening night, baby, even though I have to admit, seeing it with the fans and seeing it with the crowd would be really awesome. But some of the things that I didn't like about the movie is going to knock it down a little bit for me. So I'm going to have a good check it out.
I honestly feel, putting my own opinions aside for a second, I honestly feel this movie could be a little decisive. I think the majority of the audience is going to love it, but I think because of the humor and the way it is directed in this movie, there's going to be some people that are going to be like, not quite for me. However, my rating is check it out. Opening night, you got to go see it. It is so good. You're going to have so much fun. Go with a group of friends. Laugh it out. Have fun. Talk about it afterwards. Comment below after you've seen the movie. Let us know what you think.
Bring your hammer. Bring your helmet. And get ready for an awesome time.
See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.